Welcome to Polynom Beta, the world's first post-quantum cryptographic collaboration suite. With Polynom, you can future-proof your team's workflow and communications with the world's only decentralized, secure collaboration platform with NSA-level security. My name is Chiraka, and I work for CodeSiren, the creators of Polynom. And today, I'll be your guide to getting started with Polynom. This is what we'll cover in this first beta series video. We will download and install the Polynom client. We will use the first run wizard to create our graphitar and join a server. We will take a whirlwind feature tour of Polynom. And finally, we will back up our graphitar and learn how to join, link, and unlink a server from within the app. Our first task is to download and install Polynom. In this video, we're going to download and install for Windows 10 and later. There are also clients available at the Google Store for Android 9 Plus, a desktop client for recent Linux distros, and I'm pleased to announce that as at the time of this video, our very first iOS client has been released in the Apple Store. Now, Polynom is available in the Microsoft Store. However, if you want to avoid the telemetry, head over to www.polynom.app and download the installer. As with any new installation, it is very important that you save your work, back up important files, and close any unnecessary windows before proceeding. You will likely be prompted to download and install some Microsoft Visual C++ dependencies during the Polynom install, and this will require a reboot. In your Downloads folder, unzip the file you just downloaded, and then double-click the Polynom installer and step through the installation wizard. As per usual, you will need to agree to the license terms and conditions. There are no customization settings of note, although, as I mentioned earlier, the installer may prompt you to download some dependencies that require a reboot. I already have those dependencies installed. If or when you come back after a reboot, the installer will restart again and go through to completion. When you click Finish, it will open Polynom's first run wizard. The first run wizard is meant to get you up and running as quickly and painlessly as possible. Everything that appears in here can be changed later in the main application, and it all starts with creating your identity. Polynom does not want or need any personally identifiable information or PII from you or anyone else, ever. There are no accounts in the normal sense of the word. Your graphitar is a unique visual representation of your encryption keys because it is much easier to remember a face than a massively long encryption key. With your Polynom identity, your friends and coworkers can instantly recognize whether the person they are talking to is really you by looking at the face of your graphitar. There are over 15 decillion graphitars you can roll. That's a 15 followed by 33 zeros. So there are a ton of very odd-looking and very beautiful images to sift through. Hackers could spend months or even years trying to get something even slightly similar looking to your identity. However, when in doubt about who you are talking to on Polynom, check the hash. This makes it virtually impossible for someone to impersonate you or anyone else. So, let's get started. It is my opinion that it is not worth getting too precious about what your identity looks like while we are in beta. The graphitar engine itself is in beta, and by the time we get to the 1.0 release, your encryption keys may render a completely different image than what they do today. So, have some fun with it while you can. First, enter a username. You can change this later, it's not part of your encryption keys. Second, choose an appearance or leave it random. I'm going to limit my choices to a more masculine appearance. Third, choose a skin tone or leave it random. These two selections are the only limitations you can introduce into identity creation in order to keep the key pair generation truly random. Use the refresh button to generate another pair of random identities, and look carefully as there is no back button. If you want a closer look of one that looks interesting, click on it and it will appear to the right in a slightly larger format. There is an identity creator within the application, so don't spend too much time trying to get the perfect identity here. The highlighted image is the one you have selected and will become yours when you select Next. Click Next when you are ready. The next chooser in the wizard is for the basic color palette of your client. Personally, I leave this at the default medium theme and edit it later in the application. There are dark, medium, and light themes to choose from, but feel free to click through a few combinations if you like, and then hit Next when you are ready. It is now time to choose a server to join. For convenience, we have a pre-selected icon, which includes all the details of our public server. You could also enter the details manually if you have them. Stick with the pre-selected one and you will see that we are headed to public.polynom.app. Finally, we need to choose whether or not to encrypt our local client database. Enter and confirm a password here and it will be required every time you start Polynom. Leave it blank and your database will be left as it is. We recommend encrypting your client database. However, for this tutorial, I will not encrypt the client database. So, now we're ready to go. Click Finish and you will enter the main application itself and show up at the public server. We are now ready for a tour of Polynom's features. Let's take a quick tour of Polynom's main features so you can find your way around. First, there's the toolbar. It is home to your identities and all the servers you have joined. Because Polynom doesn't require any personally identifying information, you can theoretically have as many different IDs or graphitars as you like. From the toolbar, you can switch identities, or you can switch servers. As you can see, I have 16 servers on the go, the majority of which are private servers, including my own. On the left is the navigation pane, which in this case is showing channels and rooms. A channel can be public or private and can have any number of rooms, which can be chat rooms, file rooms, or VoIP rooms. Rooms can also have an extra layer of social encryption, a concept we will come back to in a moment. Also available in the left pane are direct messages. These are one-on-one conversations you have with other people on the server. They are fully end-to-end encrypted using the keys of the two participants, meaning the server owner can never eavesdrop on your conversations. Finally, in the left pane, on professional version servers, you will find quantum rooms. Quantum rooms are rooms that only exist when someone is actually in them, looking at them. Seconds after the last person leaves the room, all of its contents are deleted forever. Quantum rooms are end-to-end encrypted with social encryption keys, meaning that unless the server owner happens to have that particular key, It is impossible for them to eavesdrop on your conversation. The creation of social encryption keys and how they work will be the subject of its own video tutorial. Suffice it to say that if you have a social encryption key in your client, then it has the potential to be used as a quantum room on a professional server. There are 2 demonstration keys in the app for you to experiment with while you set up your own. Finally, let's take a quick trip through the settings menus. Everything you need to manage your client can be found here. This is where you can customize your theme, create, import, and export new identities, adjust your VoIP settings, etc. There is an awful lot more that we could cover feature-wise, but now that you know roughly where everything is, it's about time you started exploring the application on your own. Before you do that, however, there are a couple of important things left to do. Before I go, I need to tell you that if you lose your identity, there is no way to recover it. You never signed up for Polynom, so there's no way for anyone to recover your encryption keys if you lose them. That's why we're going to export your Gravatar right now. Go to Settings, Identities, and then right-click the Gravatar you wish to export and choose Export. Please ensure you use a strong password, as the export file contains the encryption keys of your Gravatar. The file name will be your username .nom. Please store it in a safe place. Next, you need to know how to link and unlink servers to your various identities. From the Settings menu, you can edit an ID and then select the Server tab. From there, you can check or uncheck the buttons to link or unlink a server. Let's add my new Chiraka 2 ID to my Chirakistan server. After linking it, the server will appear in the toolbar whenever Chiraka 2 is selected. You also need to know how to join a new server. On the toolbar, click the plus sign and then follow the prompts to add the address and port of the server you want to join. In the next tab, you can then decide which of your IDs to link the server to. The last thing I want to remind you is that Polynom consists of self-hosted communities. Consider setting up your own Polynom server and inviting your friends. The community server is free, it's easy to set up, and it comes in both Windows and Linux versions. When it's your server and it's your data, it's your rules. Here's a very quick recap of what we covered today. First, we downloaded and installed the Polynom client. We used the first run wizard to create our Gravatar and join a server. We did a whirlwind feature tour of Polynom, and finally we backed up our Gravatar and we learned how to join, link, and unlink a server from within the app. There is so much more to cover in future videos. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe. On behalf of the team at Code Siren, thanks for watching.